New single from Damien Rice. That's lovely, isn't it?
It's called Rootless Tree.
Well, he has a great voice, of course. I've got a version of him somewhere doing The Creep, the Radiohead song.
All right.
Which is marvellous. We have with us Mr. Al Murray, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted he's here. Al, how lovely to see you.
Likewise.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're lucky you're on, because the Guillemots, they turned up, they got to say hello, they've been sent home again.
I know, they're still out there out in the lobby looking disgruntled.
I feel sad for them. Well, I think they're going to go busking, they said, for the afternoon.
They got like a biscuit tin and an exercise ball.
Yeah. Well, I know, yeah, they didn't, at least they didn't push the boat out with the instruments today. It was going to be largely a percussion-based track, I believe. Al, you look very well. You look like you're very healthy, you're very happy, everything's sorted.
Yeah.
How was Christmas?
Christmas was great. I went to Australia for Christmas.
Now, why would you do that?
Well, my wife is from Melbourne, so she insisted on seeing her mother. But I was only there for 9 days because I had to come back, and then they stayed on the beach.
A long way to go just for 9 days, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you were feeling a bit tired, a bit jet laggy, a bit
a
irritable.
little bit. Well, I basically got over the jet lag, and then we had Christmas, and then I had to get back on the plane.
Straight on, God, that's not so great.
Yeah.
But you're here without. They're back still in Australia. Or have they
they stayed on for next week. They're back now.
Oh, they're back now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Al Murray has a new show starting on ITV. Now, you might not be familiar with ITV. It used to be a big network up against the BBC, and it was taken off the air for a few years or something.
And
they replaced it with
X Factor,
it became the Anton Deck channel for a couple of years, and now they're putting other shows on again. And Al Murray's one of them, and I have high hopes for it because Al is a very funny man. It starts this evening at 9:50 on ITV.
Al Murray's Happy Hour.
Okay, and how would you describe the show to us, Al?
It's what the pub landlord, those familiar with my pub landlord,
very funny
persona,
character.
it's what he thinks a chat show would be.
Doesn't sound dissimilar to my show then, really.
I
should never be let loose, really.
I've come in for tips.
Okay.
But the show consists of, the first bit's me talking to the audience and doing some stand-up with the audience, and then the next bit we have a guest on, and then we have a band on. But the landlord is a big Queen fan, so the bands have to play a Queen cover at the end when they come back.
I love the sound of that already.
Yeah.
But Danny Baker, his talk show, used to have everyone doing the Beatles cover. I used to love that. It was a very clever.
That was a brilliant thing. And it's kind of like, I think it's an echo of that, but it's like basically we have a toilet that the bands get changed in, and they're sent back to the gents and learn up a Queen number.
That's probably too good for them. I would have thought many of them. So who's the band this evening?
We got Katie Mellier on the show.
Oh, lovely.
She does a lovely version of Crazy Little Thing Called Love. But then I go on and honk over in a pub singing manner at the end as well.
If only my contract would allow, I would come on and treat you to my version of Don't Stop Me Now.
Well, maybe there must be a loophole in the contract.
Well, I insist on wearing the leotard for it as well.
Well, does your contract include singing with the BBC?
No, it doesn't actually.
Well, then they're fantastic.
We found the loophole.
Our way through.
Yeah, a lot of people want to see that. I'm really pleased that you've got this chance, because I've always thought Al was one of the funniest men I've met face to face. You're very funny. You're funny on in the room and on the moment and that kind of stuff. And yet I've never really seen a show that worked for you. I know you did the sitcom and that was funny, but it didn't kind of take off, did it?
It didn't catch fire. That no. But I mean, my thing. I really love audiences, and I really love getting stuck into audiences, and so we wanted to find a way of doing that really.
Yeah.
So this is it, and it seems to work. It worked on Tuesday when we made it. So
well, I've heard good things about you did a pilot episode, and I heard that was very, very funny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had James Hewitt on the pilot, and he was
the Love Rat.
Yeah, he was just fantastic because he's so posh. You ask him a simple question. I think we asked him what should Tony Blair do, and he said, he must gare. What are you saying? He was gare.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
Do you know the guy Peter York?
Yeah.
I met him many years ago when I was a research shows and had a whole conversation with him. Did not understand what he was saying. He was so. I actually genuinely didn't understand what he was saying, and I went back to the office and said, "I don't know what he's going to say tonight because I couldn't understand."
Because he's in Curb Your Enthusiasm, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
He turns up in that, doesn't he? Awfully
poshest man in the world. Who else do you have on the big show this evening? It's ITV 9:50. I think we mentioned that. It's called Al Murray's Happy Hour.
Yeah.
Who are your other
guests?
guests?
We have Jungle J. Jason Donovan, who's a very nice man.
He's a very sweet man.
Yeah, very sweet man. Amanda Holden, TV's Amanda Holden.
Her, yes.
Yeah, and Torval and Dean, though the thing we did in the show was the landlord had convinced himself he was interviewing Keith Harrison Orville. So it ends up with Jane Torval on my knee doing Orville's song.
Yeah. She looks a bit like Orville these days.
No,
that what you were thinking of?
I'm not going to
So you cruelly thought, here's someone who, let's face it, the bloom of youth has left her cheek. She looks a little bit like a small green bird now. I'll put on my knee and torment her.
I'm not having that. She's very nice. And Christopher Dean has very large thighs.
Oh, shame on you. And presumably, though, this is, I would have thought, an exciting project for you because you're getting the chance to do something with the character that you know and love, but it's a different call. You haven't done this before.
No, we've not done this. We've not done the chat thing, really. To be honest, it's, I'm absolutely loving every single second of making this programme. It's just been brilliant, and we have a team of writers. And basically, my working week is sitting in a room and we we spend all day laughing, and then someone tries to write it down. It's
Don't tell
brilliant.
people it's easy.
I'm not telling you it's easy.
Yeah.
It's terribly difficult.
Okay.
It's terribly difficult.
Well, if this show works, and I'm sure it will, then that means ITV have got you, they've got Harry Hill, they've got Ant and Dec. It's like a proper network again.
It's a
really.
dream team, is what it
Wow,
is.
It's all happening for them again.
Yeah. We've got the Hobbits on early.
Yeah.
Then the Bald Blokes.
And this, what does the show follow? Are you after something exciting?
We're after Soap Star Superstar.
Now, I haven't been watching this. Should I be watching this? Is this good?
I've been terribly busy the last 2 weeks.
So you haven't been watching it either?
But I haven't seen
Have you been watching it?
No.
Andy, of course not. You don't watch TV. Have you had to tone down the character at all? Because he was not so much. He wasn't sort of racist, but he was reactionary in his views.
No, we've not declawed him at all. The only thing is I can't curse, which I do in a stage show. But that's it. That's the only. We
So
haven't.
you can't use what we would call language,
What we would call language, no.
even though it's sort of after 9 o'clock. It's
Yeah,
after
well, we
half
also we're kind of seeing it in really the way this show came out is we did an audience with, and that worked really well. And I'm a big Dame Edna fan, and I sort of thought, well, what did he do after that? Oh yeah, he did like the Dame Edna Experience, like a chat show. So we simply thought that the original thing he came up with the audience with was such a good fit.
Yeah.
What's the next thing to do? And he does. I mean, he. You can watch that with your mum, and we wanted to find a way of making the pub landlord watchable with your mum. And the simple thing is we removed the cursing, and it seems to have made the transformation.
But
It's
yeah,
quite interesting.
although that was a very dull answer, I'll be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah, well, I'm trying. Well, you ask a dull question, you get a dull
Oh,
answer.
you see,
Come on.
you see how he reacts there. I'm being positive. I'm trying to
Shields are up, mate.
I'm very much looking forward to it because I like the character itself, but I like the fact that he is going to have something to work against. Because often when you have something that works as a kind of stand-up, which is essentially a comic monologue, I know you involve the audience, it's hard to transfer that. But I would have thought we've known faces and people to sort of like rub up against.
Yeah.
It would give him a whole new
What's
element.
good is, I mean, Jason Donovan was particularly good because he's been around for 20 years, and there's so many aspects to the things he's done and the people he's done. And
But he was, of course, Jason in Jason and the Dreamcoat. He was
That's
in the
right.
Jungle recently. He had his pop years with
Kylie Minogue and all that. Yeah,
Yeah, and
Neighbours,
so
all
I
that.
imagine you refer and play off all of those.
Bottomless Pit.
I've seen a photograph of him in the papers today on your show this evening. It looks like you're hanging him from a wire at one stage.
Yes.
What's going on with
well,
that?
I put on his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which of course has powers of levitation.
And so you fly.
And so I fly. And it's amazing now, you can't see the wires nowadays. It's incredible.
How tightly does that harness fit when a man of your size and girth has to be
God,
held
it was
aloft?
awful. And apparently they kept not getting a shot, so they hauled me up 4 or 5 times.
They say that, but you obviously upset someone on the crew.
Definitely.
Let's take him once more around the studio, shall we? We're going to see if we can push the right buttons in this alien studio to get some more music to come out of people's
Wow,
radios.
cool.
We can't promise this is going to happen and it's going to work, but we're going to try our best. You're a music lover, obviously.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Do you yourself love Queen?
I do. Yeah, Queen they're like folk music, aren't they? They're like everyone everyone knows them. It's whether you like them or not, you know the words.
I never liked them when I was a youngster, but now I've really grown to kind of like embrace them more fully.
Yeah. There's something. I mean, have you seen We Will Rock You?
No, of course not.
Well, what are you doing? What are you doing tonight? Let's go to We Will Rock You.
No, I'm not going to see We Will Rock You. Certainly not in a million years. I might even stay home and watch your show.
I went, oh, well, bless you. Oh, yeah, of course, my
You
show
see, what are you
tonight.
doing telling
What
people
am
to
I
go and see
doing? Telling
Queen?
you to go out to the theatre.
The dodgy Queen musical in town. Andy's desperately trying to find some
I'm
Queen.
trying to find a Queen track.
We've been moved
want
into
it.
another studio.
I've got Steve Wright
Yeah, we have
CDs.
Steve Wright's collection here. There's going to be a lot of Queen in there, isn't there?
I'm trying to find it. I've got the platters.
It's going to be mainly Queen, 60s doo-wop, and some Bachman Turner and Overdrive, I would have thought, if I know Steve Wright like I think I do.
I can't find Queen at the moment. I've got the platters from his Steve Wright's The Best of
They're
Soul
very
Ballad
similar.
CD.
They're very similar, the Platters and
High
Queen.
voice.
High voice.
Here we go.
Tiny leather hat.
This is the Platters, but if you prefer, you can pretend it's Queen. Freddie's voice must have got higher as he got older then.
It's all right, I've found some Queen. We're all right.
He didn't hit that note.
Queen in many ways. It's similar to Queen.
It's only desperation that's caused us to put that track on, I feel. We wouldn't normally reach for the Platters on a Saturday morning, would we?
No, I don't think so. But I have found some Queen in Steve's collection.
We'll play that in just a minute then. Al, how's life treating you generally, though? Because you have 2 children, I believe.
I have 2 beautiful daughters.
You have a wife who's still speaking to you after Christmas?
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Okay. How old are the kids now?
They're 7 and 3.
Oh, what luck. That really is. They're lovely ages.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good at the moment, actually. Yeah.
Do they still have all their own hair, or they follow Dad to the park?
Unfortunately, they have luscious blonde hair.
When did your hair start going, Al?
It's never gone.
Okay.
This actually, I shaved it off for the role, as you might say, about 12 years ago. And then, but a number 2. And then I was in Australia, actually, 9 years ago, when I met my wife. I went in a barber, and the bloke didn't understand me, and took the beard trimmer to it and took the whole lot off, and I've never looked back.
Because you've got a big face, which I think suits not having hair. It's a nicely balanced face. You haven't got big features.
Never knew what to do with my hair, ever. It was just sort of floppy.
How
thing.
did you used to have it then?
Sort of in a sort of cowlick.
Yeah,
Sort of
I bet you
indie
look
hair.
terrible with hair.
Yeah, I look terrible with hair. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
See, if I take my hair off, I would look terrible because I've got such big wonky
Yeah,
features
yeah.
that I need the hair to disguise it.
When I look at you, I think big wonky features.
Yeah, well, that's what everyone thinks so. I don't have a problem with that. But you've got petite features, almost like a girl.
It's been said that I have a girl-like face.
You look a bit like a Chinese girl, if you don't mind me saying
Chinese
so.
girl. Yeah, well, we're painting a picture now. For those.
Quite attractive. What are you doing later?
I'm going to We Will Rock You, the Queen musical. I've got a spare ticket.
Spotted at We Will Rock You, Jonathan Ross with an Asian woman. with a bald head. What a night out that would be, eh?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
So apart from the show, which is going to keep you pretty busy for the next 8 weeks, I guess,
Yeah.
if you're doing a run of 9, what else do you have coming up? What do
Next, after that, we're doing we're piloting, but so you never know, a multiple character sketch thing called Al Murray's Bag of Nuts.
So this would be like a Harry Enfield kind of show,
Yeah,
Dick
very
Henry
much,
kind of thing.
very much Harry Enfield. Dick
What kind of
Henry.
characters are you working on?
Well, one of them's Henry VIII, but now down the pub.
Well, once again, you have that look about you.
I
of
do,
course.
yeah. Going, my wives don't understand me. Trying to chat girls up. An orc who is fed up with media representation of orcs.
Quite right. That's a
Because of
lovely
Lord of the
idea.
Rings and dealing with a lot of prejudice.
Because you're
in daily life.
a nerdy kind of guy in
Yeah,
your
yeah, I am,
obsessive
yeah,
life
yeah.
at home. Yeah.
Yeah, and are you reading Marvel Comics Civil War at the moment?
Of course I am.
It's
Written by the great
fantastic.
Mark Miller from Scotland.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really
very
great. And what else? And we got. There's a guy who's based on. I had a girlfriend at college. She was a lovely, lovely girl, but in the end we had to break up because I went to her house one Christmas, and her dad was deeply prurient, and in the morning. Over breakfast, you'd be eating your cornflakes. You go, I heard you two last night. Oh, you having fun, weren't you? Oh, dear. Not as much noise as your last fella, though. All that. And absolutely. And so when we got back to college, I said, I'm sorry, it's over.
Your dad goes on what I go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I can't stand it. And so he's in.
Horrible. That is a horrible thing.
Yeah, and it's completely real. There's no... We haven't made that up
Eavesdropping
at all.
prurient parents.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want that, do you?
Yeah, oh, I love bonking. He's like, oh.
Nothing wrong with it. Healthy.
Well, yeah, he's sort of doing it to be down with the kids, and you're
Yeah.
thinking, look, mate, no.
Idiot. Did you not think of keeping the noise down, though?
Well,
Did you not think
we were
of
there
waiting
for a
till you
couple of
got back?
nights, So that night, you're thinking, well, I'm going to have to keep the noise down.
Was he up against the door with a glass, do you think?
I expect so. It was a very small house.
It'd be terrible if you went back. Let's not take him going, hurry up, I've got to sleep soon. When's the show going to start?
Knock it off, you two.
That sounds like that'd be great as well. And that will also be for the network formerly known as
That's for
ITV.
the network, yes,
Okay.
ITV1 as it's now called.
ITV1.
ITV2, ITV as
All right.
well, more ITV.
ITV, and just in case you fancied it, ITV with old movies.
Yeah,
We're going to play some Queen.
Yes,
promised
we are.
to finish. It would be wrong of us
brilliant.
not to play it for you. This is The Mighty Queen. We don't have time for much more, I'm afraid. It's been a bit of a chaotic show. It's been a bit of a hectic show. I do apologise for that, but we managed to get to most of our guests.
Yep.
The Guillemots will be playing for us next week, so if you're a Guillemot fan, and indeed I hope you are, then you'll hear them then. Al, good luck with the show tonight.
Thank you very much.
Let's remind people it's on at 9:50 on ITV1. It's called Al Murray's Happy Hour. It's got Jason Donovan, Katie Melua, and Amanda Holden.
Yep.
And there was
Torval
someone else.
and Dean.
Torval and Dean, now known as Keith Harrison Orville.
Yeah.
You terrible, terrible man. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next week if you can. 88 to 91 FM. This is Radio 2 from the BBC.